This is KSJ News, where you get all the latest from across the world to help with your exam preparations. KSJ India proudly announces the commencement of center batches for offline coaching at Delhi, Vijayanagar, Delhi, Rajendra Nagar, Jaipur, Bhopal, and Indore centers, making sure students' health and safety and also the targeted approach towards UPSC Civil Services examination preparation. Visit www.ksjindia.com for batch queries. We begin with GS Paper 3. This is in connection with economy. Singapore topped the global ranking for the second year in a row in the latest Economic Freedom Index published by the US conservative think tank, the Heritage Foundation. Singapore increased its overall score by 0.3 points to 89.7, primarily due to an improvement in the score for government spending. Singapore's score is well above the regional and world averages. Now, what does this mean? This is the first time the index has been published since the COVID-19 pandemic overturned lives as well as global economies, and the scoring reflects to a small extent how the governments have responded to the health crisis. 184 countries were covered in the study this time, and the period of study is July 2019 to June 2020. The index ranks 12 indicators from property rights to financial freedom under 4 categories: rule of law, size of government, regulatory efficiency, and open markets. The small island nation of Singapore made improvements or maintained its score for all 12 indicators except monetary freedom and judicial effectiveness, which declined marginally, but its scores in these 2 indicators are still exceptionally high when compared with most other countries. The Heritage Foundation's Index of Economic Freedom is an annual guide published to measure the progress made in advancing economic freedom, which it claims brings greater prosperity. The foundation also believes that the ideals of economic freedom are strongly associated with healthier societies, cleaner environments, greater per capita wealth, human development, democracy, and poverty elimination. Overall, Asia-Pacific nations generally scored lower than the world average in 7 of 12 indicators: property rights, judicial effectiveness, government integrity, monetary freedom, trade freedom, investment freedom, and financial freedom. Talking about India in this index, in the 2021 index, India came in around the middle of the pack among the Asia Pacific countries, ranking 26th out of 40 countries, scoring 56.5 points. Globally, the foundation rates India's economy as 121st freest. Although its overall score is unchanged, improvements were made in business freedom. This was offset by declines in judicial effectiveness and other scores. The report commented that the Indian economy remains in the mid-range of the mostly unfree category. A move towards greater economic freedom would require substantial and broad-based reforms. In addition to taking steps to improve fiscal health and strengthen the rule of law, the government would need to increase financial freedom and reform the tax code, the investment regime, and the labor code. Talking about the other countries, and how are the other countries placed? Well, rounding up the global top 5 are New Zealand in second place with 83.9 points, Australia third with 82.4 points, Switzerland in fourth with 81.9 points, and Ireland with 81.4 points. As for the major economies, the United Kingdom is 7th with 78.4 points. United States of America is ranked 20th with a score of 74.8 points. Japan is 23rd with 74.1 points. Germany is 29th, 72.5 points, and China is number 107, scoring 58.4 points. The biggest news generated from the 2021 Index of Economic Freedom was, however, not the rankings or how COVID-19 impacted the scores, but that the Heritage Foundation decided to exclude Hong Kong from its ranking for the first time ever. Hong Kong had topped the list for 25 out of the previous 26 years prior to the current year. The Heritage Foundation said that the reason for leaving Hong Kong out is that the special administrative region and its economic policies have now come under the direct control of Beijing. Time for updates related to GS Paper 2. India has urged the United States, Japan, and Australia to invest in its vaccine production capacity, an Indian government source said, as the so-called Quad Alliance tries to counter China's growing vaccine diplomacy. Beijing has committed to provide at least 463 million doses of its homemade COVID-19 vaccines through exports and donations across the world, from Asia to Africa, Europe, and Latin America. Now, what does this mean and what is the significance of this? The Quad Alliance, grouping the United States, Japan, Australia, and India, was stepping up efforts to expand global vaccination to counter China's growing soft power. India, the world's biggest vaccine maker, believes it is best placed to steer the effort. India has more vaccine options than any other Asian country at this point of time. Indian companies such as the Serum Institute of India, Bharat Biotech, Biological E, and Cadila Healthcare have the combined capacity to produce billions of doses of their own vaccines or contract manufacture for others. Serum Institute of India, or the SII, is the world's biggest single manufacturer. It is producing the Oxford University AstraZeneca vaccine for many countries and will soon start making the Novavax shots in bulk. India is also trying to sell a vaccine created by Bharat Biotech and the state-run Indian Council of Medical Research to 40 countries, including Brazil, the Philippines, Zimbabwe. Bharat Biotech says it can make about 700 million doses of the shot a year. Indian vaccine makers are also planning to produce more COVID-19 vaccines developed by the United States and Russia, including Johnson & Johnson. Indian companies will also produce about 300 million doses of Russia's Sputnik V vaccine, but Washington was not keen on helping expand Moscow's clout in vaccines. In some more updates related to GS Paper 2, the Supreme Court on the 8th of March issued a notice to all the states asking them to respond on whether reservation could be allowed beyond 50%. The Apex Court was hearing a plea on validity of Maratha reservation and said that its verdict would have wider ramifications, and this is why other states need to be heard. The court will recommence the day-to-day hearing in this matter on the 15th of March. On the 9th of December last year, the Apex Court had said that issues pertaining to the 2018 Maharashtra law granting reservations to Marathas in education and jobs requires urgent hearing, as the legislation has been stayed and the fruits accrued are not reaching to the people. The top court had also issued notice to the Attorney General seeking his assistance in the matter. On 9th of September last year, the Apex Court, while referring to a larger bench the batch of pleas challenging the validity of the law, had stayed the implementation of the legislation but made it clear that status of those who have availed of the benefits would not be disturbed. The Socially and Educationally Backward Classes Act 2018 was enacted to grant reservation to people of Maratha community in Maharashtra in jobs and admissions. The Bombay High Court, while upholding the law in June 2019, had held that 16% reservation was not justifiable and said that quota should not exceed 12% in employment and 13% in admissions. According to the 102nd Amendment to the Constitution, reservation can be granted only if a particular community is named in the list prepared by the President. On 27th of July last year, the Maharashtra government had assured the top court that it would not proceed with the recruitment process to fill up the vacancies on the basis of 12% Maratha reservation till September 15, except for departments Public Health and Medical Education and Research. More updates related to GS Paper 2. Iranian President Hassan Rouhani said that the full implementation of UN Security Council Resolution 2231 is needed to maintain and revive the 2015 International Nuclear Agreement. Rouhani said that Iran is committed to the JCPOA, or the Joint Comprehensive Plan of Action, and is the only party that has paid a price for it, but this situation cannot continue in this way. Rouhani said the best way to solve problems with European partners is negotiations at bilateral, regional and international levels on the basis of mutual respect and away from any threat or pressure. Rouhani also called for the development and deepening of Tehran-Dublin relations in all fields, especially economic and trade relations. Ireland is ready to play any role that would help improve the situation and resume talks among all participants. As a result of the US's unilateral 2018 exit from the nuclear agreement, Iran has surpassed JCPOA stipulated limits on its uranium enrichment level and on its stockpiles of heavy water and low enriched uranium. The Islamic Republic has also lifted JCPOA limitations on its nuclear research and development activities. In December 2020, the country's parliament passed the law of Iran's Strategic Action Plan to counter sanctions, which obliges the government to further reduce the obligations under the 2015 nuclear deal unless the US lifts the sanctions against the Islamic Republic. That's it in this edition of KSG News. Stay tuned for more such videos. KSG India proudly announces the commencement of center batches for offline coaching at Delhi, Vijayanagar, Delhi, Rajendra Nagar, Jaipur, Bhopal and Indore centers. making sure students' health and safety, and also the targeted approach towards UPSC Civil Services examination preparation. Visit www.ksjindia.com for batch queries.